All praises to Yahweh Ba'Sham Yahweh Shai, Ba'Sham Bakar Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elected nation of Israel. This is going to be a lesson on how understanding the wickedness of a woman or the wickedness of women is actually a sign of wisdom, man. Right? Because a lot of people in this world think that Hebrew Israelites just make videos going into how women are wicked, and that's because they just hate women. They can't get women or whatever they want to say, right? They think that there's some kind of incel that is involuntarily celibate and can't get women. No woman's attracted to them and all of that. And I think that people say because they hate women ultimately, man. But really, knowing the wickedness of women is a sign of being wise, man, right? And I'm going to use Solomon as an example to prove that point, all right? So this is 1 Kings chapter 3 and verse 6. And Solomon said, Thou hast showed unto thy servant David my father great mercy, according as he walked before thee in truth and in righteousness and in uprightness of heart with thee. And thou hast kept him for this great kindness, that thou hast given him a son to sit on his throne, as it is this day. And he was talking about himself. And now, O Yahweh, my power, thou hast made thy servant king instead of David my father, and I am but a little child. I know not how to go out or to come in. And thy servant is in the midst of thy people, which thou hast chosen, a great people that cannot be numbered or counted for multitude. Give therefore thy servant an understanding heart to judge thy people, that I may discern between good and bad. For who is able to judge this thy soul people? For who is able to judge this thy so great a people? Right? So he asked for wisdom, he asked for a mind to understand, right? Verse 10, and the speech pleased Yahweh that Solomon had asked this thing. And Yahweh said unto him, Because thou hast asked this thing, and hast not asked for thyself long life, neither hast asked riches for thyself, nor has asked the life of thine enemies, but has asked for thyself understanding to discern judgment. Behold, I have done according to thy words. Let me read it again. Behold, I have done according to thy words. Lo, I have given thee a wise and understanding heart, so that there was none like before thee, neither after thee shall any arise like unto thee. So there hasn't been a person wiser than King Solomon since he's been around, man. And what was some of the things that King Solomon understood? Now, let me read this last bit as well. Verse 13, I have also given thee that which thou hast not asked, both riches and honor, so that there shall not be any among the kings like unto thee all thy days. Right? So Solomon asked for wisdom, and because what he asked for pleased Yahweh, because he didn't ask for things personal to just his own life. Right? He didn't ask to kill all the Edomites. He didn't ask to kill all the heathens and to put them under his feet. He asked for wisdom, right, to judge the Israelites, to be able to discern between good and bad. He asked for wisdom, man, right? Because he did that, Yahweh gave him everything else, right? And what were some of the things that Solomon understood? Well, let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes. Let me go to this. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 12. I, the preacher, was king over Israel in Jerusalem, and I gave my heart to seek and search out by wisdom concerning all things that are done under heaven. This sort of veil have God given to the sons of men to be exercised therewith. So he was king of Israel. He had free time on his hands, right? The kingdom was established. Everything was at peace when you read the scriptures, man. And he decided to search out wisdom of the earth. He decided to search out what life is all about, man. Right? He had free time to really sit and consider and to ponder life. So he decided to go and search out from his realm that he was ruling over, which he would have been ruling over at that time, all of the world, man. Right? He was ruling over the whole world in them times. Right? All of the other nations were under him. They came to him for wisdom. the Edomites, all of these nations, all of them. And he searched out wisdom, man. And what was one of the things that he said? And what was one of the things that he saw? Right? Let's read it. Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 26. And I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets, and her hands as bands. Whoso pleaseth Yahweh shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be taken by her. So what would have been some of the things that he would have been seeing? He would have saw women that are wicked, but they might have been extremely beautiful, extremely pretty, extremely sexy, whatever you want to say, man. Extremely attractive, had all the right curves, would have had he would have seen long-haired Israelite women back in those times that ain't bald-headed, right? He would have seen Israelite women with long hair flowing down below their back, flowing down to probably by their legs, man. Solomon saw that. Solomon saw way better looking Israelite women than we've ever saw, right? Of all the tribes, because the whole kingdom was established in that time, man. There wasn't no such thing as black people during the time of Solomon. That didn't exist. There were Israelites of different tribes, of different clans, right? And Solomon saw on the earth women, man, and he saw how they was doing things, and he understood that they were wicked. Solomon had 1,000 women that he dealt with on a personal one-to-one level, right? That would have more than likely, because he was following the laws, they would have been virgins, man. Now, how many of us in this time right now can even really say that we've dealt with one virgin? You struggle to say that, to be honest with you. You struggle to say that, and if you have, congratulations. But then you probably didn't have the wisdom of your own self in that scenario to know that that was actually a valuable thing. So you might have cast that woman away, and then she ended up committing adultery. Or you might have ended up not casting her away, but she still ended up leaving and going to commit adultery anyway. Right? And I find more, verse 26 again, and I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets, and her hands as bands. Whoso pleaseth Yahweh shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be taken by her. So Solomon would have been seeing men that deal with the Lord in a righteous way being considered repulsive to wicked women, right? To women in general. It would have been considered like, man, these women don't like that. Solomon was seeing that women in general, he was seeing that women in general are not attracted to righteousness, right? But he was seeing that women are attracted to wickedness, but that their mind and that they're as deaf. So all you people that try and say that we hate women and all that because we point out that women are wicked, right? Knowing that women are wicked is a sign of being righteous, man. Is a sign of being wise for you to understand that, man. For you to not look at women and judge them just because, oh, she's pretty or she's got a nice shaped body, so she must be a good person. No, she's more than likely, because she's attractive, proud, and a demon. And even the women that are unattractive are proud and they're demons too. So it's really quite hard to find a woman in this modern time that's even somewhat righteous, man. The last women that was somewhat righteous that we would have seen in our time are, if depending on your age, it might be, if you're in like your 50s maybe, 50s, 60s, it might have been your own mother, who would have been like 70 plus, 80 plus maybe. Or if you're in like your 30s, 40s, then it would be your nan, which would be the same age range as those people that would be in their 50s, 60s. That would be the same age range as their mothers. But the women that are 40, demons, most of them. The women that are in their 50s, demons, most of them. 30s, demons. 20s, demons, man. Like, that's just how it is. And people that want to say, oh, nah, that's wrong to say. Is that me saying that there's not nobody that's a woman that's of the elect? Of course not. Because there is going to be women that are of the elect. But what we see on the earth is that most women are against speaking up for righteousness, man. They're against it. Now, because Cat Williams just did his interview where he said everything that he said, and people see that now that when you tell the truth, you can go viral. We're probably going to see this year certain people trying to bun out certain things and try and expose the truth because they want to get famous. because they want to go viral, but they're not going to be exposing the truth because they really want to tell the truth. They're going to be doing it just because they want a viral moment, man, and want to make some money. They would have been like, man, how much did Club Shay Shay make? Which that's a bugged out name, by the way, to have for a podcast. It sounds like something else. Sounds like some LG, one of them alphabet places, man. But people are going to want to start all of a sudden telling the truth now for money's sake, not for righteousness, for money. Verse 27, behold, this I have found, saith the preacher, counting one by one, to find out the accounts. So Solomon, when he was in his kingdom, he really did a social experiment, man. And sometimes we do social experiments in our lives, man. We do social experiments to see how people go on with certain things, man. Right? And we've seen through these social experiments how people are, man. And sometimes we might have accidentally did a social experiment. For example, most of you brothers out there, man, you elders, right, apostles, there's been time where you're dressing out, you're outside and you're dressed in a certain way that is like just basic clothing, man. In your lifetime, there would have been time when you're just dressed outside with basic clothing, right? And women in particular, they don't look in your direction or anything of the sort, man, right? And your face has not changed. You've got the same haircut, your beard length's the same, right? Your moisture on your face is the same. Your hydration for the day, your skin complexion is the same as on that day as it is any other day. But it's just your clothes are not the most appealing clothing, right? And then on another day, when now you're dressed in more luxurious or appealing clothing to the eyes of the world, right? And then all of a sudden now you notice that women are lingering around you all of a sudden, man. That is one of the things that's more bitter than death, because women love money more than they love their own dignity. And that's why you've got women out there that are literally being with men on camera that are legally considered disabled, right? For money and for clout, because they don't have no dignity, they don't have no integrity, man. You've got women that are married doing reality TV shows where the goal of reality TV show is for her to commit adultery on her husband, and then the husband's there with it. Like, there ain't no dignity among women, really, man. They don't have such a thing. That's not a real word in their vocabulary, man. That's not a thing that women understand. Dignity, integrity. They don't understand those kind of things, man. And that's why women leave marriages so often, because even though the vows say to death do us part and all of that, that's just vows for them. That's just like a party. That's a party that they're throwing. That they're the VIP. That they're the star of the party when they have these marriages. It's not a real thing that they believe in. That's like when a rapper goes to the club and he's the one that's going to be performing, or when a comedian is going to be the main person performing at a club, or when a boxer is going to be the main event. That's how most of these women look at weddings. They don't look at it like, wow, this is really something in the eyes of God that I have to uphold now. No, they don't consider that. Because if they did, they would listen to what the vow in the thing says. Till death do us part. But they don't do that, do they? They bounce and get half, or sometimes more than half, and dip, and then they're up and down, and the next thing that's jumping around here, man. But anyway, verse 27, behold, this I have found, saith the preacher, counting one by one, to find out the account. So Solomon did this. He would have did this with his 1,000 women that he had, his 700 wives and 300 concubines. But he would have also saw, because he was judging amongst Israel, he would have saw all the wickedness that women was doing, man. Didn't he see women fighting over a baby? And the one woman was prepared to have the baby cut in half? Let me see if I can find that story, man. He saw that women was prepared to fight over a baby, and that one of the women was prepared to have the baby cut in half, man. Let me see if I can read that. 1 Kings chapter 3 and verse 16. Then came there 2 women that were harlots unto the king and stood before him. And the one woman said, O my lord, I and this woman dwell in one house, and I was delivered of a child with her in the house. And it came to pass the third day that I was delivered, that this woman was delivered also, and we were together. There was no stranger with us in the house, save we two in the house, which that goes to the single, all that single mom stuff, man. Right? That single mom, wicked ass spirit, where these women are just gathering kids and ain't no man around, man. Which shows that that's just wicked way to be, man. And it's damn near even sound like it's talking about how that was happening in ancient Israel, man. Verse 19. And this woman's child died in the night because she overlaid it. And she rose at midnight and took my son from beside me while thine handmaid slept, and laid it in her bosom, and laid her dead child in my bosom. And that shows how women are wicked, man. And women do that now in this time. Their child will die, and they'll steal another woman's child, man. They'll steal another woman's baby, right? Women, when I'm subscribed to quite a few different crime channels, man, and law channels, police channels, and all of these things. And some of the things that women are doing, man, it's mad, bruv. Most of the channels are filled with videos that are things that women are doing, man. On some of these channels, there's more things that women are doing than men. Way more, man. But we're supposed to believe that women ain't ever did nothing to nobody. That's what the world wants us to think. Or there's always an excuse. It's always something that men have did. That's the reason why they did that. They get a BBL and take their fat from their belly, right? And then put it in their ass so that they can look like they got a fat ass. No, that's not a fat ass. That's a fat stomach that you've put behind you. That's not a fat ass. That's your stomach fat. That's a fat stomach in your back, in your batty. That's what that is. If we're really talking the truth, which is something that women are against, which goes further into how understanding the wickedness of a woman is a sign of wisdom, man. Because women are like kryptonite to men. Because that's a man's glory according to the scriptures, right? So if his glory becomes corrupted, then it can corrupt him. But if you can overcome that wickedness, then you can get everlasting life, man. Let me carry on reading this. Verse 21. And when I arose in the morning to give my child suck, behold, it was dead. But when I had considered it in the morning, behold, it was not my son, which I did bear. So she saw that the woman had stole her child, man. Verse 22. And the other woman said, but the living is my son, and the dead is thy son. And this said, no, but the dead is thy son, and the living is my son. Thus they spake before the king. Then said the king, the one saith, this is my son that liveth. Salakia. The one saith, this is my son that liveth, and thy son is dead. And the other saith, nay, but thy son is dead, and my son is the living. And the king said, bring me a sword. And they brought a sword before the king. And the king said, divide the living child in two, and give half to one, and half to the other. Then spake the woman whose living child was unto the king, for her bowels yearned upon her son. And she said, O my lord, give her the living child, and in no wise slay it. But the other said, let it be neither mine nor thine, but divide it, which goes into the wickedness of women, man. Because just because she lost her child, right, she was prepared to make another woman lose her child. Because she was hurt that her child was dead. She was like, well, to hell with it then. Both of our children can die. Let's cut it in half, and it can be neither of our children, man. Which these are some of the things that Solomon would have been seeing. You think this would have been the only kind of scenario like this that Solomon would have saw? He would have saw all kinds of things, man. There would have been all kinds of people being brought unto him, man. Being made to stand before him so that he can judge among their situation, man. And he would have seen, man, women are wicked, right? And maybe on a certain occasions he might have spoke to his wife. I ain't saying this is definite, but maybe on certain occasions he might have judged between his wives. Saw in his wives some of the same exact traits that he's seen in wicked women that was brought before him like this, man. Or he might have spoke to some of them about some of the things that are the judgments that he had to do where women had did certain things, and they might have been like, nah, you shouldn't have did it that way. You should have had mercy on her. And he would have seen, see, women are wicked. These are all the things that Solomon was seeing to know that women do a lot of wickedness, man. Now, does that mean that men don't do wickedness? Of course not. But the things that women do that are wicked I've always seen are way worse than the things that men do that are wicked, man. They always seem to be way worse. I remember there was this time where there was this guy, and a lot of brothers have heard the story anyway. There was this guy, and he was like a boxing coach or something like that, or he owned a boxing gym or a fighting gym, some kind of combat sports gym. And his wife tried to get him assassinated, right? But the person that she tried to get to assassinate him just so happened to turn out to be a cop, I think. So they staged his death, right? And he pretended like he did it. And then they even took pictures and everything. And when she was in front of it and she saw the pictures, she asked to see it to confirm. And she fake cried and all that, man. And then the man's there like, man, I thought this woman loved me, but she tried to get me killed, man. And these are the things that women do all the time on a day-to-day basis, man. They lie about getting R-worded, right? They harm their own children that are in their womb. You know? They do a lot of madness, man. They get fake lips and fake booties and then have the nerve, man. The nerve to try and bun other women out and curse other women out and make other women feel insecure about not having a big glutes or whatever now, or certain size lips, when you don't even have those certain size lips. Your face ain't real. And then on top of all of that, they try and say that the reason that they do it is men's fault. But then they want to say that they're adults and that they're this and that and that they're independent, yet they always want to blame men for everything that goes wrong in their life, man. And this is why understanding that women are wicked is a sign of becoming wise, man. It's a sign of becoming wise. And there's many other things that Solomon saw on his time on the earth that we also understand that, man. Because we're becoming wiser, right? We're becoming wiser, man. We're starting to gain wisdom. Now, I ain't saying that we're as wise as Solomon, but we're starting to gain wisdom, man. We're starting to see things and be like, man, I see why Yahweh has to destroy Israel, man. I can even say for a fact now that I understand why we had to go through the Atlantic slave trade, man. And I think it was a good thing that it happened. I think that was good, man. Because had it not have happened, we'd have been proud as hell. We'd be proud, man. And had we have not got taken down by the Babylonians and by the Assyrians, we'd be even worse, man. So all the curses that was brought upon us, we deserved every single part of it, man. And we also deserve Jacob's trouble, which is coming. We deserve that, man. We deserve every single ass kicking that Yahweh gave us, man. We deserve all of that. And that's a sign of being wise. Where some Israelites, they don't even want to believe that we're cursed, yet their lives effed. Verse 20, Salakia for a lot of talking, man. But all of this stuff pertains to us becoming wise, Lord willing, man. Lord willing, the things I'm saying make sense, and it's not just me babbling my own thoughts, you know. Verse 27, then the king answered and said, give her the living child, and in no wise slay it. She is the mother thereof. And all Israel heard of the judgment which the king had judged, and they feared the king, for they saw that the wisdom of Yahweh was in him to do judgment. So these are some of the things that Solomon saw, man, to know, man, women are wicked, man, right? Women are wicked. This woman was prepared to make another woman lose her child that she was living with in the house. Here it is, she lived with the woman, you know. She lived with her. And she was prepared to make, because she tried to steal her baby when she was asleep. So she was prepared to make that woman think, man, my baby's dead. My baby died while I was asleep at night. And she would have been there talking about, oh man, yeah, you shouldn't. You probably rolled on him while you were sleeping. You're such a bad mother. She probably been talking all that kind of shit. Oh man, yeah, I'm a better mother than you. My baby's still alive. She would have been all up in the house, living with her still, looking at her in the face, mourning for her child, knowing that her child's still alive, right? And then when she couldn't get away with doing that, then what did she do? She was like, well, okay, Just let the baby die then, and none of us can be a mother. That's what she was doing. And Solomon would have seen many other scenarios like that, man. Many. He would have saw many things to make him feel like, man, women are wicked. Just like how we've seen women do a lot of things now in our time to make us say, you know what? Women are really are demons, you know. It doesn't matter. Forget how pretty they are. Forget how beautiful they are and all the curves and all that stuff. They're wicked demons. And it sounds harsh when you say it like that, right? But it is true. Even women that want to say the Lord's name and all that, right? You see that they know every scripture in the Bible. They know all the scriptures apart from Proverbs 31. They know every chapter apart from the chapter says, "I suffer not a woman to teach." You know, they know every scripture under the sun, apart from the ones that speak about how women should watch them out. They know they want to say then, oh, who put that in there? Men. But so did men put the parts that you're trying to make out like you're a prophetess about, and that you're some prophet. Verse 27, I have found this, behold, this I have found, saith the preacher, counting one by one to find out the account, which yet my soul seeketh, but I find not. One among 1,000 have I found. So even among men, it's not even common that you're going to find wisdom and find righteousness, man. And that's true too. Because most of these people in this world that try and go on like their homeboys and like their friends and all of that, right? Former friends from the world, right? The first chance they got, or the first chance they get to try and take your woman, a lot of the times they'll do it, man. It's very rare that people will, if you let them into your house, treat your house with respect and dignity. It's very rare that you'll find people that deal in such a way. Normally, they deal wickedly, man. And they're out to try and one-up you all the time. That's normally how it goes. Or if you let somebody into your house, you're gonna be watching the walls, like analyzing your house. Oh, he thinks he's bad, but look at his walls. And I'll end the lesson there, man. Shalom.